Managing Director of Paragon Trust Company and tax and private client practitioner, joins us to bring a common sense approach to money in a world of total insanity. Let's welcome Tony D'Angelo.
All right, our good pal Tony D joins us every Tuesday. We got him at a new time, 7 o'clock. Give him a little bit more breathing room so he can dive even deeper into some of this stuff. Tony, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, and proud to be among everybody, Lee Elci.
All right, buddy. We appreciate you coming on. So I guess we'll continue because it seems like it's a never-ending battle against Ned and the minions. But any updates?
Well, yeah, it kind of feeds off its own energy. And again, good morning. As predicted, and predicted nowhere else other than this show, there was a $2.46 million was paid to the Jack Rubinstein CT LLC for, if you read the state record, COVID tests and things like that. Now, of course, nothing's really moved on any bills of lading. I can't really see where they're getting any product. You can't see any shipments or anything like that. Far be it for us to see any actual purchase orders or things like that. We'll get to that in a moment. Now, the disturbing things are, people listen to this show, and everybody knows I said, these guys will get paid whether they deliver anything or not, but nobody asks any questions whatsoever. And, the Clucko state-run media is still, they're fawning over King Ned. He did an interview on Sunday with a local TV network, and he brought up that word ethics. And I've gone chapter and verse on this show where if anybody hears that word, how they need to respond to that. Not a word. Person's just like la-di-da, probably getting paid a good salary to do nothing. Yes, the typical sycophants and enablers. And I think what's really troubling to me is that this is another development. In the whole Rubinstein saga, he set up a website. It's called PPE Outlet USA in Glastonbury. He's kind of, whatever this is kind of turning into, Ron Popeil on Saturday morning, set it and forget it. They claim to be a leader in the sales of PPE, but when you actually trace the life of this website through the Internet Archive, you see it's been there 3 weeks. So, now, the kid here, I've always been of the belief, this is what got me into my own business, a saga that I question from day to day and time to time. When they don't do it for you, you got to do it yourself. So I'm involved in a shakedown with the Department of Administrative Services, and I'm like, give me everything. Give me the bills of lading. Give me the payments. Give me the cause and effect and whatever. And they wrote to me on the 12th of January, and they're like, well, we're looking into it, and I'll contact you as soon as an update is available. So, it's kind of like the mice are starting to scatter. So I think I just want to convey to you first, Lee Elci, my frustration. There's no media pressure. There's no legislative pressure on a grant. I shouldn't say no. There's very limited, and there's people, George Colley's doing fine work. When do we finally say, this is like watching a professional wrestling match. You are waiting for superstar Billy Graham to be beat, and somehow, the Grand Wizard will come in with a chair and Ned escapes. I am getting tired of watching this. Your ball, my friend.
So I saw there's a new attack ad, which I actually wasn't all that, I didn't really care for it very much from the Republican Party. I thought it was too mudslingy. And, I didn't think it was put together well. But like you just said, the response from him was this, oh, my God, how dare you? Well, the things that were said in that, the majority of them are spot on. It's just the way it was delivered I didn't like. And, you have been carrying that football from day one. So you speak of ethics, you speak of transparency, and you've done that again for over a year. And yet we never see any of it. Just give me, give me the transparency, and we'll let the ethics take care of themselves. And if you're doing bad stuff, we'll find it out. But as well as I know, that's not going to happen.
They are masters. This spin machine are masters at, quote unquote, burying under the rug. We'll do it this time. We'll keep it out of, the main outlets, and, people, given their lives and things like that, will forget. And, I mean, I forget. So it's just the way it is.
Right.
And it's, I think it's terrible. I think it's a disservice to the people of the state who, need good and honest information to make decisions and good representation. And by and large, they're just not getting it.
It's going to be an interesting governor's race because the folks who did decide to run against Governor Lamont will have a lot of ammunition, Tony, and we'll see how the state reacts to it. We'll see if they're just blind sheep who just follow whatever they think is the best.
And that's very interesting. I'm very happy you brought that up, Lee Elci, because I was having this discussion over the weekend. In order for the Republican Party to win in Connecticut, let's just get down and dirty. Let's just pull all the drawers out, throw all the, everything, throw it on the ground. You have to do what Glenn Youngkin did in Virginia. You have to fight that kind of fight because you've got to get the independents who have watched what, has happened over the years with a lot of politicians who have been disgusted. Okay, you got a guy in Pomfret, Connecticut here who might be, falling into that category. And, get them interested in the fight because there's a large block of independent voters. Right. And it's like, it's like you give them the guns, you give them the ammunition, you give them the boxing gloves, you give them, hey, this is what you have to do, And I mean, my God, I hope the light goes on. Can you imagine 4 more years of this nonsense?
No, but I think you're right about the independents. I also think a crucial thing is you have to get to, again, whoever runs, they have to get to the inner city and turn the 7% of the folks of color who vote Republican into 14% or 12%, and those folks will make up the difference if you can sprinkle on some more independent voters. Then you win by 50,000 instead of losing by 50,000 votes. But
and that's another excellent point because any single person who's there, I mean, for all the people you see who are on the Ned train where he's passing out the candy and and the thing is, I mean, he works the churches, he works the nonprofit. How much do we have in this thing today? You've got another person there in the inner city or in the urban area who's self-motivated, who doesn't want any of that, who's watched these policies for years and years and years, going all the way back to the Great Society. It's like, I don't want that garbage. Right. I see what that garbage has done. And somebody coming along and giving that message of, okay, you will have this. You will have this shot, and we're going to make it for you, and you'll be doing this for yourself. You're absolutely right, and they keep missing it. And I mean, it's like they miss it like it's the biggest forest tree in the whole yard. I don't get it.
I hate to
really
say it,
don't.
I don't get it either because if I was getting clubbed over the head over and over and over again for not just years but decades, eventually I would say, yeah, I don't, I'm not going to vote for you guys again because whatever you sell me doesn't work. It never does. So
it never does.
I'll try something else. All right, you want to talk zoning?
Well, yeah, and this is, I don't know, this is really kind of it seems like every year, during the legislative sessions, we have a cause, and I'm predicting that this is going to be the cause of this year, which is the issue of quote unquote zoning and the rise again of Desegregate Connecticut and ostensibly the Open Communities Alliance. Now we're back at this because the right fight wasn't fought when it needed to be fought. We're back at it because this was something we used to talk about it last year, and we're all any single family homeowner who's busted his head open to have a house, regardless of what color he is or whatever his persuasion is. You got to feel guilty, and you're getting along because there's been systemic racism and it hasn't been pointed against you. I mean, and that to me is a gross insult against any single homeowner of color or any person of color of accomplishment. But it's just basically we're going to start to see this again. And all this is you kind of got to get the historical basis to figure out where we're at. And it's just, an effect on, which I like to call, and people correct me and they're right in correcting me, reverse racism. Because that's not a technically correct term. Racism is racism. Go back to 1968. And Lyndon Johnson started with the Fair Housing Act. This was due to the 1968 riots and the destruction of the cities. And he said, one of the things that Lyndon Johnson did that was, a good thing, there should be no discrimination on the basis of race, color, creed, national origin, whatever. Everybody's got a shot at where housing is at. Fast forward to 2015, the Obama administration starts with something called affirmatively furthering fair housing, and that in a nutshell says we no longer want any exclusionary communities. We want all the communities to be the same and the same zoning and things like that. And all you people that are out there in all these communities, you got to figure out a plan to make this happen in your community. So, Woodstock, Connecticut has got to figure out affirmatively furthering fair housing and report back to us. And if you don't report back to us, you're going to lose your funding. Now, if you go to 2020, President Trump and Ben Carson, who is the Secretary of HUD, they rescinded it. And they said, this is nonsense. We're just not going to deal with this. It's the old rules work. Biden, in his campaign promises, said he would rework it, but he yet hasn't. So right now, we're still sitting at the 1968 rules in effect. Now, I think as a backlash to that, we started to see these organizations in Connecticut, the Open Communities Alliance and Desegregate Connecticut. Now, I was having this discussion with the people at the, I guess it was 169 Strong, and which is an organization to have local zoning in Connecticut and to preserve it. One of the people who were there, she was absolutely shocked at the fact that Desegregate Connecticut is not its own nonprofit because they want to say they're local, they're concerned, they're these good people, and we should all feel guilty and whatever the case may be. They are part, if you go right to their website, of something called, and this is where if you want to make a donation, you have to make it to this particular organization, the Regional Plan Association, which is a tri-state organization for the, whatever you want to call it, for the propounding of this effort. Now, the Regional Plan Association is a direct conduit to TSNE and the Soros Open Society. This is not its own nonprofit. This is a big play. So where our legislature loses the fight, it's that this is not about guilting out homeowners. This is this is a major effort. It's going on all over the country. Do a search, do a Google, Open Communities Alliance. You'll see one in Chicago. Right. You'll see one in another place. And when you get to what happened in Woodbridge, Connecticut, which you're going to start to see this happen again with the Open Communities Alliance, Woodbridge is a perfect poster girl for this. It's perfect. Right. It is an affluent community. It's practically within walking distance to New Haven. It's populated by tons of liberals who work in nonprofits, and they're all susceptible to guilt. And when they fight these things, they fight it on the basis of very technical zoning. They want you to get enamored with that, but basically they wouldn't care if they use bullets, bottle caps, or bombs. They just want to get the job done. And, I can go on, but I'm sure you got more thoughts than I might have. It just gets me angry.
Let me grab a call because Walter wants to weigh in. So, Walter, we don't have a lot of time left, but you can go ahead and talk to Tony D. Go ahead.
Hi, Walter.
Yeah, hi, Tony. Hi, Lee. Hey, Tony, I got to tell you before I make a comment on what you said, you wouldn't believe the friends of people I know that have been to your place.